apologize. Let the record reflect that we have reconvened with all members present. Council Member Tom Howard-Plutus is absolutely excused. For those who are able, please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance and remain standing after the pledge. I pledge allegiance. Just take a moment to remember a few Madison residents we lost over the last couple of weeks. Borough passed away last week at the age of 96, born in 1928 in Orange, New Jersey. He's survived by his sister, 4 children, 6 grandchildren, and 17 great-grandchildren. Grew up in Maplewood and graduated from Columbia High School after a year and a half at Valley Forge Military Academy. Attended Syracuse University, graduated degree in English. Enlisted in the Air Force as a communications officer, and then went on to work for his father's business, the Rails Company, and spent the summers out with the rail gangs installing rail fasteners. His father passed on, he was appointed president. And as it says in the obituary, he could have been a doctor, but chose not to go to Europe for medical school. But he often spent his teen years in the backyard as the backyard was covered with motorcycle parts and assemblies, trying to make them go faster. And he did own several, which he would use to commute to Syracuse even in the winter. I guess he was also known to race with his friends on Wyoming Avenue, which I assume is the one in Maplewood. Can't get away from that now. And he was an amateur radio builder and operator. Purchased his first single-engine airplane at 18 years old, and ended up acquiring a Twin Beach and won several air rally competitions. And while in the military, he married his wife Mariana, where they had 4 sons. Vacationed on Lake George. And while he was with the Rails Company, he invented a new snow detector and railroad bridge tie anchor design, and developed a pneumatic centralized railway track lubrication system, which became standard in New York City transit subway system. And he was very active in Madison, including with the YMCA, Madison Presbyterian Church, Library, Morristown Medical Center, and Noe Pond Club. We also remember Mario Lasapio, passed away on October 26, age of 94, survived by his 2 daughters, two granddaughters, a brother and a sister. He lost his wife Maria in 2017. He was born in Soma, Venetia, Italy, where he was raised with his 5 siblings, married in 1954, and emigrated to the United States and settled right here in Madison. And he loved his new life in America, but kept his Italian traditions and values. They first lived on Keep Street and moved to North Street, where they raised their 2 daughters. And he enjoyed spending time outside gardening and playing bocce with many of his friends. He had a garden, so he and Maria could grow their own vegetables, and the aroma from the kitchen brought you back to Italy. He had an extensive career with PSE&G before retiring. John Rillo died at the age of 95, preceded in death by his wife of 52 years, Mary Ann. He's behind 2 daughters and a grandchild, born in Summit, served our country in the United States Navy, 1950 to 54 in the Korean War, above the USS Henley. Long career in plumbing and HVAC trades. He worked for PSE&G and then Ciba Geigy. He was involved with the St. Vincent Martyr Church, where he was usher and greeter for 10 years. And also remember Patricia Pat Cacavalli, passed away on October 25th, born in 1934 in Belleville, lived in Madison for the past 87 years, graduated from Madison High School in 1952, worked for Chubb Insurance, followed as a bookkeeper at PNC, and then a receptionist at St. Vincent Martyr Church until her retirement in 2021. At St. Vincent's, she also served as a Eucharistic minister and volunteered the annual Thanksgiving basket outreach for several years. Survived by her 3 children and 5 grandchildren. And she was predeceased by her husband, William, in 2005. She was a dedicated Giants fan, which takes a lot of dedication, and through good times and bad years, and she never wavered. So let's take a moment to remember Gar Burwell, Mario Lasapio, John Rillo, and Patty Cacaval. Let's pass our thoughts on to the family and friends they leave behind. Thank you. Could I have a motion for the executive minutes of October 16th, 2024?
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
A motion for the regular minutes of October 16th, 2024.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion, corrections? All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Welcome all. Again, sorry for our little delay to start there. Computer decided it was time to do a reboot and threw me off. So I'll go for my iPad instead. I did forget at our last meeting to welcome the Drew journalism class, and so we have a couple students here again for the second meeting in a row, so welcome. Thank you for being here, seeing local government in action. And just a couple of things that were going on last couple of weeks, and it all seemed to happen on one day, actually, which was this past Saturday. I started the day at 8:30 with a visit to the 10 Monica Field at the high school, which had been just resurfaced and is now ready for at least another decade of play there. So stop on by, take a look at it. And then at 10:30, I went to the centennial celebration for the Madison Junior School. And since I was told by a few people in the audience that I exceeded my allotted 3 minutes, I will not read my full comments right now, but I will cover on a few of those. But you know, I was there kind of living up to tradition. When the school opened up in 1924, the mayor of Madison was there to speak, but he couldn't say that he was also a alum, as I was a member of the 1970 class of Madison Junior School. So yes, I was there before the school had even reached its 50th birthday. And one of the things I mentioned was the fact that my class, since we were born in 1956, you can do the math, we were right in the middle of the baby boom. So we had really pushed that beautiful building to its limits in more ways than one. In attendance was Dr. Bob Newhouse, who was a former principal of the junior school, but more importantly, he was my principal at the Green Village Road School, which is where Rose Hall is right now. He was there among several other former principals, but he was the only one there who was born the same year the building opened in 1924. Bob Newhouse celebrated his 100th birthday just a few months ago. And I went up to say hello, and before I could say anything, he said, "Hi, Bob, how you doing?" So. And somewhat related to this, I got a letter from a John Callahan in Florida last month. John Callahan is Madison High School class of 1946. So he attended the junior school when it was still the high school. And he was just sending a letter to, one was to talk about the Lincoln portrait, but to share some of his memories of Madison. He hadn't lived in Madison since the early 50s, but had some great memories, including his memories of the high school. And the sticker on his envelope was, "The foundation of every state is the education of its youth," and anyone that went through Madison Junior School knows that is right above the stage. So it was very neat, the timing. Also at the event was a museum that was put together of the school history, both as the junior school and the high school. And they recently opened, they just recently had opened the time capsule that was put behind the cornerstone. I told Jim that one of the things in the time capsule was the 1924 finance report for the Borough of Madison, so he's anxious to look at that and maybe make some recommendations for next year's budget based on that. But all of this work, it was an incredible day for anyone that was there to see it. The museum, all the history that was put together, would not have happened if it wasn't for the junior school history teacher, Steve Finkelstein, AKA Mr. Fink. His dedication to the event truly made it special. And then, when that was done at 12:30, headed over to the Madison Chamber Halloween Parade. I did miss the actual parade, as I was making my way from the junior school, but did see some amazing costumes as children gathered on the Hartley Dodge Plaza for the magic show, which preceded the trick-or-treating downtown, and Madison certainly was busy with all sorts of children going through with their parents. It was a great day. And then at 2 p.m., we cut the ribbon at the new playground at Dodge Field. There were children arriving there in their costumes had just come from the parade to enjoy the beautiful day and playing on the equipment of the playground. And just a few things that I recognize there. The fully accessible playground was made possible through funding from the New Jersey Department of Environmental Protection Green Acres Jake's Law Initiative, and it was pointed out we're the first playground in Morris County to take advantage of that funding to deliver a fully accessible playground. New Jersey Department of Community Affairs Local Recreation Improvement Grant, the Morris County Commissioners Community Development Block Grant, the Madison Elks Lodge, number 1465, and our local lodge bought benches for there, and the Land Conservancy of New Jersey. And the playground, as stated on Saturday, would not have been possible without the vision of former Councilwoman Deb Cohen and the support from Susie Whitehorn, Rec Director Zach Ellis, Borough Assistant Engineer Dennis Harrington, and Director of Business Development Lisa Ellis. And we also had our expert playground tester, Katie Whitehorn, Susie's daughter. And visiting that day was Eric Legrand from Rutgers, the Rutgers football player who was paralyzed in 2010. He had a great big smile as he viewed our playground and commented on the importance of accessibility for all, to have those able and those with physical challenges being able to play together. If you haven't been there, please take a visit. And today, a very important day, is National First Responder Day. So I want to take a moment to express the deepest gratitude to the dedicated men and women of the Madison's police, fire, EMS departments. Your unwavering commitment to our community ensures Madison remains a safe place for all who live, work, and visit. Our residents know, and they don't even think twice, when they call for help, the answer is there. So your bravery and selflessness in the face of challenges do not go unnoticed, especially over these last few days. As you'll hear from some reports, it's been a busy weekend. Each day, our first responders put their lives on the line to protect others, responding to emergencies with professionalism and compassion. It is their tireless effort that creates a sense of security in our neighborhoods and beyond. So to all the first responders out there, thank you for your service, your sacrifices, and your dedication to keeping Rose City safe. And I have a proclamation. Ask Liz to come on down. We'll do it right here. Okay. And this is a proclamation we do every year. Is to truly a very important one for awareness. This is something very close to Liz Osborne, our clerk, and also to this council, as we lost Ben Wolkowitz, council member, to pancreatic cancer. Whereas in 2024, more than 66,000 people will be diagnosed with pancreatic cancer in the United States. Almost 52,000 will die from the disease, including more than 1,400 in New Jersey alone. Whereas pancreatic cancer is currently the third leading cause of cancer death in the United States and projected to become the second leading cause around 2030. And whereas each person's chances of getting the cancer can be affected by certain risk factors such as tobacco use, being overweight, family history, and inherited genetic syndromes. And whereas when symptoms of pancreatic cancer present themselves, it is generally in the later stages, and 88% of pancreatic cancer patients die within the first 5 years. And whereas it is important to see a doctor at the first signs of pancreatic cancer, which could include abdominal pain, mid-back pain, new onset diabetes not associated with weight gain, and yellow eyes or skin. And whereas the good health and well-being of the residents of Madison are enhanced as a direct result of increased awareness about symptoms and risks of pancreatic cancer and research into early detection and causes and effective treatments. Now therefore I, Robert H. Conley, Mayor Borough of Madison, on behalf of the governing body, hereby proclaim November 2024 is Pancreatic Cancer Awareness Month in the Borough of Madison. Just guessing, but I think I went past 3 minutes. So reports from committees. Public Safety, Council President Range.
Thank you, Mayor. From the Police Department tonight, on October 24th, the Madison Police Command Staff, Detective Bureau, and school resource officers attended a Bagels and Brainstorming event hosted by the Madison YMCA by members of Project Community Pride. This event is held several times per year with members of the police and Project Pride, discuss trends and issues they're seeing with youth, and collaborate on events that can be planned to strengthen the relationship with the police in our community. Topics of discussion of note were bullying and social media, safety for teens. Madison Police personnel attended several events for the kickoff of Halloween week over the weekend. Officers were present at the annual trunk or treat held at the Madison High School over the weekend. They were present during the Halloween parade that yielded many participants this year. Police also got a chance to see many awesome costumes by the visitors and residents throughout town. Further, during Halloween trick-or-treating time coming up this week, residents will notice many marked police vehicles in residential areas to ensure that the night is safe for everyone. We'd also like to thank the Madison Masonic Lodge, who recently donated $5,000 to the police department that will be used to support the 2025 Every 15 Minutes program. And from the fire department tonight, the fire department had a very busy weekend. On Saturday morning, there was a large brush fire inside the enclosure for the Hepburn Woods. The New Jersey State Forest Fire Service Watchtower, located approximately 6 miles away in Denville, was the first to spot the fire located deep in the Drew Forest. Madison Fire Department was dispatched and found the fire near the southern property line. Working with the State Forest Fire Service and our mutual aid partners, the fire was held to just under 2 acres. And that was very fortunate that the fire was not worse, as also on Saturday there was a large brush fire in Livingston off of Eisenhower Parkway that consumed 190 acres. This underscores the fact that New Jersey is in extreme fire danger currently, and we are under a red flag warning. We've been without rain now for 27 days, and the dry weather and low humidity have made conditions very dangerous as it relates to fires. There should be no outside burning or fires unless they are elevated and fueled by propane or natural gas. The leaves are incredibly light and dry, so drivers are also reminded, especially with leaves piled curbside for pickup, not to park cars on or near piles of leaves, as this can result in the car and those leaves catching on fire. Also last night at Drew University at approximately 11:45 p.m., multiple 911 calls were made reporting a large fire near the tennis courts at Drew University. Firefighters arrived and found a structure fully engulfed in the fire in the tennis court area. The surrounding grass area was also burning and the fire was spreading rapidly. The fire went to 2 alarms, and with help once again from our partners, we were able to limit the spread of the fire and keep it within the structure. 1 minor injury to a firefighter was also reported at that incident. Back to Saturday, the fire department and the EMS division responded to a major motor vehicle collision on Route 24 that resulted in a teenage passenger being ejected from the vehicle. The fire department would like to remind everyone that all occupants of a vehicle should wear their seatbelts at all times to avoid those sorts of serious injuries. And lastly tonight, Fire Prevention Month, as we wind that down for October here, was a great success for the Fire Prevention Bureau, who visited St. Martyr Vincent, Central Avenue School, Kings Road School, Torrey J. School. Kindergarten, first grade, and second grades in each school learned about fire safety and the equipment used by the firefighters. Firefighters has also been visiting all nursery schools in the borough, and they've been showing the children there our fire engines and the gear that they wear during working fires. That is all from Public Safety tonight, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you. Finance and Borough Clerk, Ms. Ellis.
Thank you, Mayor. The tax collector would like to remind residents that the fourth quarter taxes are due November 1st. Because of the holiday weekend, the grace period is extended through the end of business day on Tuesday, November 12th. Any payments not received by the 12th will have interest charged back to the 1st of November. In addition, the property tax reimbursement forms, which are in the Blue Booklet, also called the Senior Freeze Program, must be filed by October 31st. If you haven't yet completed and mailed your application out to the state, time is running out. The Madison Tax Office is available to answer your questions and to fill out the tax certification portion of the application. From Finance and Administration, there are 2 items to report. On October 15th, the Borough wired the Board of Education their monthly funds, which were over $4 million this month. And second, this evening we have a short presentation from administration on the State of New Jersey's Best Practices Checklist. The State Division of Local Government Services issued the checklist last month. It includes scored and unscored questions for the borough to answer. The questions cover various topics, including personnel, ethics, budget, cybersecurity, transparency, shared services, affordable housing, purchasing, and capital planning. The Best Practices Checklist assesses Madison's compliance with various state laws. It also evaluates our operations as well as our fiscal practices. The checklist provides taxpayers with additional means for evaluating a town's management. This is the 6th year that the Best Practices Checklist has been in existence, and this year's list, as well as all prior year lists, can be found on the Finance Department's pages of rosenet.org in the Documents section. In 2024, a municipality must attain at least 35 points on the checklist in order to receive 100% of their state aid. Madison scored 43.5 out of a possible 46.5 points, so I'm happy to report that the borough will once again receive 100% of our state aid. Tonight, the CFO will discuss some of the questions, and I want to say that I'm very proud of Madison's fiscal and operational strength. I want to thank all the staff and elected officials, past and present. Their careful consideration and prudent fiscal planning and policy have positioned Madison on such sound footing that we can be proud of our performance on this checklist, the services that we deliver, and the fact that we are able to deliver year over year in all of these categories, I think, is something we can all be proud of. That's all, Mayor.
Thank you. Public Works Engineering and also Utilities, Mr. Landrigan.
Thank you, Mayor. Okay, first from Engineering, the Welby facility improvements, the project's being closed out. Final inspections from the building department are required. The utility building roof ventilation fans remain to be installed. The library interior is reviewing submittals and invoicing. Construction work is approximately 99% complete. Furnishing and restocking the library materials will take some time. Anticipate reopening in the fall. For milling and overlay, the project has been completed. To Cook Avenue parking lot, phase 1 of the project is complete. Phase 2 has commenced and is continuing this week, with phase 3 scheduled for later this week as well. The telecommunications companies have relocated their wires underground for the phase 1 portion. Madison Electric has transferred services to the new underground wiring. The project is scheduled to be completed by mid-November. Now, in regards to the playground, and the mayor has given a very good review of that, what I can tell you personally is that several families from where I live have all attended and have praised it. They said it's wonderful and it was long overdue, so that was a great thing for the town. The MRC solar carport, the project has been awarded to Bullet Electric of North Arlington in the amount of $1,998,500. The project is advancing. Some equipment has been procured. A pre-construction meeting will be held shortly. The project is anticipated to commence late this fall. Okay, from DPW. DPW has made it around town completely with the leaf vacuums. Residents are reminded not to put sticks or any other debris in with the leaves. That clogs up the machines and slows them down. They are working on having work done on the trusses at the Public Works building on John Avenue. When looking at putting in a solar roof on a solar putting in solar on the roof, they found a couple of problems which they are working to correct. It is an emergency repair, and the crews here are every day making the repairs. We anticipate all work done by mid-November. The Parks Department has shut off and blown out all sprinkler systems. They encourage all residents to do the same if they have not done so already. This will save time in line breaking and causing a significant leak. In the coming week, we will start working on snow equipment and making sure the plows and salters are ready. Okay, from the Madison Environmental Committee. The Madison Environmental Commission, or MEC, reports that the town-wide yard sale on October 19th was a success, with more than 50 households registering. Since 2021, the MEC has partnered with the Chathams to run spring and fall yard sales and reduce waste. And they're also a fundraiser for a good cause. Residents listed their sales with a $10 tax-deductible donation to the Great Swamp Watershed Association. On Saturday, October 26th, the MEC table based at the Centennial event at the Madison Junior School, and Joan McCary gave away lots of packets of native plant seeds. On Sunday, the MEC co-hosted a hugely popular the ID Tree Walk at the Forest Preserve at the Madison Recreation and Conservation Complex. The sold-out event offered small groups an intro into the forest ecology and tips on how to use nature's cues to identify trees based on training from Ginger Van Reints, a naturalist with the Great Swamp Watershed Association. The Tree ID Walk was a successful partnership between the MEC, the Madison Shade Tree Management Board, Friends of the Madison Shade Trees, and the Great Swamp Watershed Association. Okay, the electric utility. Asplin Engineering has started the relay upgrading at Kings Road Substation with assistance from the electric department. Michael Riggs was promoted to first-class lineman following his completion of his first-class test. On October 16th and 17th, the senior housing transformer relocation job was completed. On October 21st and 22nd, crews were out replacing street lights that were out for the Halloween coming up. On October 22nd, the department started testing out a new derrick truck demo for a possible replacement truck. The service hookup for 50 East Lane was completed. The electric department continues to complete markouts, see click fix postings, and resident calls. Okay, for the water utility. Dug 6 curb boxes after old main valves were found during the meter changes. Replaced iron service from water main in our systems found when digging out a curb box. Bacteria test was conducted at 120 Madison Avenue, that's the Moss Complex. The fire hydrant, raised the fire hydrant to proper grade at Roscoe Avenue. The system-wide hydrant flushing was completed. Meter changes continue. Markouts, residents called, and they remind people to see click fix to see what work is continuing. And winterizing for fountains and field houses is to be started this week. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Bob. Just there was a little subtle thing in your report from the MEC, which I want to point out, that the MRC, Madison Recreation Complex, and I know the Environmental Commission wants to have it start being called the Madison Recreation and Conservation Complex, which is a very, we may have to do that officially, but that highlights the fact that not only playing fields, but the fact that we have the wooded area fenced to keep the deer out, to restore that. We have the wildflower meadows, we have the community gardens, we have rain gardens, and so truly it is a recreation and conservation complex. So thank you for that little subtle report. And
good point.
Thank you, Claire, for putting that in there. And now we'll move on to community affairs. Ms. Honahan.
Thank you, Mayor. From the DDC, it is just coming up on Halloween, but we're getting ready for Christmas in Madison. The Rose City Christmas Committee has begun planning for the annual Christmas parade and tree lighting. If you would like more information regarding sponsorship or donations, you can reach out to Lisa Ellis, DDC at Rosenet. The Farm and Artisan Market continues through December 14th. It's continuing to be a great success, 9 to 2 on Saturdays. The next regular meeting of the Downtown Development Commission will be held on October 17th at 7:15, right down the hall from here. The Chamber of Commerce will be presenting a new event in conjunction with the DDC on November 2nd at 11 a.m., and it is the Rose City Dog Day and Parade. So we're in the season of parades for sure. Contact Karen at Madison Chamber or Lisa at DDC. The Madison Community Arts Center has over 50 paintings by area artists from the DeBarry Studio in Florham Park, and they're being displayed through the 25th of November. And on Friday, November 1st, the Film Society of Summit will be screening Intercepted, a documentary looking at messages of Russian soldiers that were intercepted in the Ukraine war. The New Jersey Jazz Society will present a concert of their annual high school and college jazz scholarship winners at 3 p.m. on November 3rd. More information on other events at the Madison Arts Center can be found at madisonartsnj.org. On November 2nd at Grace Church, with the Rotary as lead, the Repair Cafe will take place. So if you have knives that need to be sharpened or things that need to be fixed, that's the place to go for free help. And then on November 2nd, Dead of Night cemetery tours will take place. Those will be free, and there's several different times you can go. And to reserve your space, you can email hillsidecemeterynj@gmail.com. Thank you.
Very much. And Health, Mr. Forte.
Thank you, Mayor. The New Jersey Department of Health has identified 5 cases of measles in Monmouth and Middlesex counties. Each of these cases are related to each other through a single individual who contracted measles while traveling internationally. None of the 5 cases were vaccinated against the disease. Measles is a highly contagious preventable disease with a 50% hospitalization rate in children under 5. The Madison Health Department would like to remind residents to stay up to date with their vaccinations, including measles, and also the annual flu and COVID vaccines. Any individual that would like help finding vaccinations can call the department at 973-593-3079. Thank you.
Thank you. Now we move on to communications and petitions.
None received, Mayor.
Now we move on to our first of 2 invitations for public comment. This one is limited to items on our agenda discussion, which is the best practices checklist, which you heard about already, and you'll be hearing the full report shortly. And you can comment on the following resolutions. If you want to comment on other topics, you have to wait for our second invitations for discussion, for comment. And these are the resolutions you may comment on. These will also be part of the consent agenda. Resolution 292, authorizing the appointment of Robert Duffy to the position of Director of Public Works, annual salary of $165,000. Resolution 293 is authorizing a letter from the governing body stating that there is no objection to issuance of a temporary helistop license for every 15 minutes program at Madison High. Resolution 294 is authorizing shared service agreement with the Madison Board of Education to provide a Special Law Enforcement Officer 3. Resolution 295 is accepting a donation from the former Masonic Lodge for the Police Department, and this is $5,000 for school-related events and programs to be used by the department. We thank the Masonic Lodge for that donation. 296 is authorizing a special event permit for use in Summerhill Park by a Girl Scout troop. Resolution 297, authorizing renewal of agreement for Employee Assistance Program, aka EAP program, with Atlantic Health Systems. Resolution 298, authorizing Sustainable Jersey Climate Vulnerability Assessment Technical Assistance Application. Resolution 299 is enabling resolution for the funding for the Dodge Field Playground. Resolution 300 is authorizing execution of an electric vehicle adoption leadership pledge with EV adoption leadership. Resolution 301 is approving a raffle license applications submitted by Drew University. And Resolution 302 is authorizing appointment of A.J. Rangu to the position of Director of Information Technology, annual salary of $165,000. Resolution 303 is authorizing the appointment of Archie Joseph to the position of Information Technology IT Specialist, annual salary of $65,000 per year. So those will be part of the consent agenda, and also you may comment on any of those resolutions right now. If you wish to comment, please step up to the lectern, state your name and address, write the same on the clipboard, state the agenda discussion or the resolution you wish to comment on, and then you may start speaking. Anyone wishing to speak, please step forward. Seeing none, I close this part of the meeting. And we move on to our agenda discussions. CFO, Jim Burnett.
Thank you, Mayor. I appreciate the opportunity to present the best practices survey results. As Councilwoman Ehrlich clarified and stated earlier, this is a requirement every year. Since 2019, the state has issued and promulgated this list. Every year the questions are different, and it gives us an opportunity to go over them, make sure that we're doing everything we can. A lot of state laws and guidance are issued within it. As mentioned, there are scored and unscored questions. Unscored questions this year were on affordable housing, lead remediation, and other items like that. There were various questions that were scored on ethics, on the environment, on core competencies with capital projects. Cybersecurity had more questions this year. Things that you would anticipate that are becoming more and more important are being mentioned in and brought forth with questions. Core competencies on personnel, on procurement, how we purchase insurance, and things like that. So we scored a 43 out of 46.5, and doing the math, that's 93.5%. And I checked online, the Smith College Grading Numerology says that that's an A. That's my wife's alma mater, so no offense to Drew. I hope it's an A at Drew University as well, but just want to let my kids know that we got an A, and happy about that. So 3 questions we did not answer affirmatively. 2 of them keep recurring every year. One is, do we have an accumulated absence liability reserve? Accumulated absences are when an employee accumulates sick time, and then when they go to retire, we would presumably pay out of that accumulated sick bank. They oftentimes can cash out 1 sick day, or get 1 day for every 5 that they cash out at the end when they retire. We choose not to do this because we put employees on terminal leave and let them stay on instead of giving them a large payment. Just what we choose to do here, what we've been doing for years, so we don't see a need to have that liability. Also, the liability is reducing significantly because previous laws and previous policies allowed employees to be able to save more sick time, and more importantly, cash in at a better rate. 1 day for every 3, 1 day for every 4. So had people like David Maines, who worked here forever. Love you, David Maines, if we miss you. And someone like him who had just an incredible amount of days. Now newer employees that are hired can't accumulate that. The second is a storm recovery reserve. And we don't do that because we're unique that we have our electric utility. We're unique that in the way that we budget with Public Works, in that we don't just put an average amount into the salt budget. You've heard me talk about this before. We put an extra into the salt budget. So if it's a year where we need more salt or more overtime for plowing or more work, we have it baked in the budget. If we don't need it, we don't spend it on party hats. We don't spend it paving roads. It can only be used for plowing and for salt. And that those funds would lapse into fund balance and be made available in future years. So that's just a strategy that we use. It's almost a side of me that just wants to create these little reserves and put $10,000 in them just so we can answer yes, but why do the accounting? The third had to do with the number of lead inspections that we've done, and we're in the process of developing our program here. Lead inspection is required on the municipal level. It's a new, I hate to use the word unfunded mandate, but that's what it is. We're expected to to perform this work mandated by the state. The state inspects larger apartment buildings. So apartment buildings downtown, 5 apartments, 20 apartments, they get inspected by the state DCA, Department of Community Affairs. So they're already being inspected for these issues. But a single family home that might be rented, someone moved out or someone's just renting a single family home or they're an expat out for a couple of years, or 2 family homes are not subject to DCA inspection, and they're asking the borough to identify those homes, notify them, and then require inspections. So it's easy for us to identify 2 family homes. We can do that through the tax records. A little trickier on 1 family homes, but we'll look for tax bills that are being mailed to someplace other than the home, and we'll send out notifications to them. There are companies that will do this work where they will take the payment from the property owner, $200 payment, they'll go in and do the inspection, do all the compliance for us. So we'll be coming to council at the next meeting or the following meeting, getting authorization to do an RFP to hire a company to do that. Other towns have done it differently, using zoning officers. Right now our engineering, land use, and zoning department doesn't have the bandwidth to pick this responsibility up. And the fact that there are companies out there that have this entire platform ready to go makes sense for us to do that. So other than that, we scored yes on everything else. I'll just pick 2 random questions just for fun. That's a weird one. Here we go. Personnel. Does your municipality currently have an unlicensed individual serving as an acting municipal clerk, temporary chief financial officer, purchasing agent, temporary public works manager? And the answer is no. We have all fully certified staff in those positions. Liz is certified, continues to take classes and continuing education credits to become a municipal finance officer. Great job, Drew University students. If you're interested, let me know. I had to go and get another master's degree, effectively. I had to take 10 courses, not classes, courses. So that was a multi-year process. So we have fully certified staff in all of those spots. I'm looking for something that we actually get scored on.
Thankfully, we weren't getting scored on picking random questions, but.
Okay, so this is, if your municipality contracts with an insurance broker for health insurance, how do you do the procurement? And the answer is that we do it the way the state wants us to do it. I'm not going to go into all the state statute and local public contracts law bid thresholds and everything, but those are just examples of questions. They want to make sure that you're just not giving an insurance contract to someone without bidding it. So these items will be posted on Rosenet. As a matter of fact, I don't know if Michael wants to pull it up now. If you go to Finance Department and then you click on Financial Documents and then you scroll down to Best Practices, you will find the best practices for this year and for all the other years online. So if you have an interest in diving into it further, feel free to take a look at these, and if anybody has any questions, my contact information is affiliated with the Finance Department page on Rosenet.
Thank you. And it's great work, and it is, it's twofold. One is we score so well, so it's great to hear that. I didn't get A's too often in my time, so it's good to get them now. And the other is they truly are best practices. If we get high points, it means we're running a very good town. So, any other questions or comments? Thank you, Jim. All right, there are no ordinances for hearing, so we will move on to invitations for public comment. This is when you may comment on any topic. Again, try to keep your comments to 3 minutes, but we give you a 1-minute grace period and ask you to stop at 4. State your name, address, and write the same on the clipboard. Welcome, Claire.
Thank you. Claire Whitcomb, 12 Fairwood Road. Mayor, I'd like to thank you for picking up that little note about the conservation complex, which apparently was the original name of that area. So yes, we're advocating for a new name, or an actual name for the forest. Madison Forest Preserve is what we were talking about. At the MEC, that's what we voted to have it, because you just call it the forest at the MRC, and that doesn't capture what it is. And it's something of a secret, really. 20 deer fenced acres, which have undergone a 10-year restoration. And Stephen Stocker ably and heroically managed that for the duration. He got that grant, he got the deer fencing, $20,000 Sustainable Jersey grant. So it has a lot of history and institutional knowledge, but unfortunately he's not able to manage it. So one reason why we had the Tree ID walk at the Forest Preserve was to kind of raise awareness in terms of the public that to take them through the forest and introduce them to forest ecology. And there's a lot of work to be done there, which I'm not going to go into. But speaking of forests, we tabled, as mentioned by Bob Landrigan, at the MJS Centennial, and no sooner had we set up the table than Mayor Conley showed me a video of the Drew Forest burning. So I spent a tense morning, and our colleagues were, trying to figure out what was. I mean, that situation could have been bad, quite. It's just an unknown what happens with a wildfire like that, and I'm really thankful to all the firefighters who came, and I talked to the guy who was attending Geraldine, the fireman. He's like, "Oh God, something finally happens, and I'm babysitting Geraldine." So I said, "Well, you're lucky that things don't happen a lot." One thing that I'd like to point out is that the Drew Forest has undergone a 15-year restoration, and there were 2 acres and more that were choked by wisteria. And the absence of hanging vines and the invasives that had been cleared meant that there was not a ladder that went up to the canopy. And that forest could have been far worse if we had had a different situation there. And it just raises the point that we should think about all our forests. And I know that Summerhill Park is, a hot spot for invasives. And the wisteria is Asian wisteria. American wisteria doesn't spread that, and it's one of the top 5 invasive plants that are in homeowners' yards that spread to forests. And Dr. Sarah Webb gave us a list of these, and this is the foundation of that grant we got from the Association of New Jersey Environmental Commissions to remove the barberry bushes at Gibbons Pines. And so at the Tree ID walk, we did education about these invasives, but these are all things that are still being sold in garden centers, and it's barberry bushes, Japanese barberry bush, which is full of ticks because it's spiny, and the mice can nest under it, and the predators can't get to them. Burning bush, which the Borough proudly displays in many hedges. Ivy, which was recently removed at the library during the Green and Clean. Is that 1 minute, or am I at 4?
Yeah, actually, I guess you missed a 1 minute warning, so I'll give you 30 seconds. Yeah.
Okay. Asian honeysuckle. I think that's 5. But the point is that we need to connect. Like, if we want to help save the health of the Drew Forest, we have to start in our yards. And these should not really be sold at nurseries, but they are, and people need to just understand that they can have a role in protecting Madison's parks by how they garden at home.
Thank you, Claire. I've said it before, one of the things I always love about our Drew Forest and other things, reports, I always learn something new, but the concept of invasives serving as a conduit to the canopy in a small brush fire becoming a much larger thing. Thank you for that. Anyone else wishing to comment, please step forward. Seeing none, I close this part of the meeting, and we now move on to introduction of ordinances. Will the clerk please read the statement?
The ordinance is scheduled for hearing. Have a hearing date set for Wednesday, November the 13th, 2024. All will be published in the Madison Eagle, posted on the bulletin board, and made available to members of the public requesting copies.
I'd call up ordinance for first reading and ask the Borough Clerk to read said ordinances by title. Ordinance 32-2024.
Ordinance of the Borough of Madison appropriating $160,000 from the General Capital Improvement Fund for emergency repairs to the Public Works garage roof.
Mayor, I move ordinance 32-2024.
Second?
Council discussion. This is part of Bob Landrigan's report, so explain that. Further discussion. Roll call vote, please.
Ms. Ehrlich? Mr. Landrigan?
Yes.
Mr. Range?
Yes.
Ms. Honahan?
Yes.
Mr. Forte?
Yes.
And ordinance 33-2024.
Ordinance of the Borough of Madison establishing an authorized personnel-only policy for restricting areas within the Borough of Madison.
Mayor, I move ordinance 33-2024.
Second.
Council discussion. This in a way is a best practices sort of thing. Roll call vote, please.
Ms. Ehrlich?
Yes.
Mr. Landrigan?
Yes.
Mr. Range?
Yes.
Ms. Honahan?
Yes.
Mr. Forte?
Yes.
Consent agenda resolutions. Will the clerk please read the statement?
Consent agenda resolutions will be enacted with a single motion. Any resolution requiring expenditure is supported by a certification of availability of funds. Any resolution requiring discussions will be removed from the consent agenda. All resolutions will be reflected in full in the minutes.
Mayor, I move the consent agenda resolutions 292, 2024 through resolution 303, 2024.
Second.
Any council discussion? Rachel?
I have a couple just like to highlight that are of interest to, pertaining to climate action and on Madison's ongoing commitment to leadership in these areas. Resolution 298 is a resolution to apply for the Sustainable Jersey Free Climate Vulnerability Assessment Technical Assistance Program. So this is a grant that provides technical assistance to municipalities through funding from the New Jersey Department of Environmental Protection. And the aim of this program is to help towns meet the new regulatory requirement of the New Jersey Municipal Land Use Law, which requires that towns include a climate change-related hazard vulnerability assessment in their master plan. So there is a time clock on when towns need to adopt this assessment as part of their land use element of the master plan. And Sustainable Jersey is offering technical assistance to towns that apply, and we can get assistance in developing this new section of the master plan. And when you read through the requirements to allow you to qualify for this assistance, Madison is really well positioned for this because we've already adopted climate goals. We have a climate plan for resiliency and energy, and we're like the perfect candidates to receive assistance to create this new section of the land use element. So I expect that we'll receive this grant and be able to get started on it in the new year. So that's exciting. And R300 authorizes the adoption of an EV adoption leadership pledge. This is EVAL, Electric Vehicle Adoption Leadership Program. It's a national certification funded by the U.S. Department of Energy, and it's a program that provides recognition and technical assistance to organizations supporting the adoption of workplace charging and other zero-emissions transportation options. So the authorization to take this pledge tonight and a few other steps that have been proposed and endorsed by Borough administration will allow us to gain certification points and get assistance in continuing to promote the adoption of electric vehicles in town. So two great steps that we're taking.
For background on those. Any other further discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Yes.
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 Ms. Honahan?
Yes.
And Mr. Forte?
Yes.
Okay, there is no unfinished business. Approval of the vouchers. Will the clerk please read the voucher totals?
From the current fund, $6,065,068.19. From the general capital fund, $72,865.84. From the electric operating fund, $466,868.86. Water operating fund, $6,442.90. From the trust, $15,423.75. The total is $6,626,669.54.
Mayor, I move approval of the vouchers.
Second.
Discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Ms. Ehrlich?
Yes.
Mr. Landrigan?
Yes.
Mr. Range?
Yes.
Ms. Honahan?
Yes.
Mr. Forte?
Yes.
Right, there is no new business. Mr. Secretary?
Mayor, I move to adjourn.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
I do think somebody is making, what?